You know, there are small sins and there are big sins. There are sins like, rushing through the prayer, not doing the best wudu. There are sins like not lowering your eyes fast enough. There are sins like maybe making fun of someone, not realizing you crossed the line. That's a sin. It's not good. There are sins like reciting the Quran but not reciting it properly. Small things. There are sins that you can not even realize you're doing.
This person once said in front of friends, he said, I've never been to a nightclub before. Everyone looked at him with shock because he said, I've never been inside of a nightclub. All of a sudden, a nightclub not being in there is a shock to everyone. Another one said, I've never kissed a girl before. Everyone looked at him in absolute dismay. Not only in dismay, they thought he's a loser. And now they make movies about men who are losers because they can't get women, and they call them wimps and they're cowards. How things have changed around. Where women have lost their absolute value, men have lost their value, and this type of behavior is considered to be noble and courageous. Allahu Akbar. You're a warrior, you're a hero if you can serve your lusts and temptations. And then you have issues of rape and crime, and then you've got laws, especially in Western countries, that can't even solve anything. Just the other day I read in the paper about a man who was convicted in the court of law in Sweden. He was convicted of rape. You know what kind of rape? It says that the woman, she agreed to have intercourse with him. But, excuse me for the expression, he used some kind of contraception, I don't want to say its name, and the contraception broke. Based on that, she won in the court by claiming rape, even with her consent. So now their own laws can't even solve their own problems. They bring more laws that bring more problems for them. Those who follow their own lusts and temptations, they want to lead you astray, away very far. Allah wants to lessen the burden off your shoulders. He doesn't want you to fall into harm. He doesn't want you to fall into predicaments where you can't climb out of. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَن يُخَفِّفَ عَنْكُمْ. These laws in our deen are only there to protect you. They are not there to cause you harm or restrict you, ya akhi. They are there to protect you because there's so much harm out there. Like what your father and mother do to keep you away from fire, keep you away from harm. They restrict you and place boundaries around you. We need boundaries from Allah, otherwise we fall into harm.
But then there are major sins. The consumption of haram, like you're drinking a beer. The zina of the eyes. It's pretty major. Actual zina. Killing somebody, consuming riba, earning riba, endorsing it, saying something that Allah has made haram, that it's no big deal, it's okay, it's halal, Allah will understand. Things like that. These are major sins. Allah says, you want to be people of the afterlife? Number one thing you give me is don't do major sins. Kaba'ir al-ithm. Stay away from the big stuff. You can refine yourself and work on the smaller things over time and become better and better and better as a Muslim. But the first order of priority is the major sins. If you're dating a girl, you're in major sin. If you're dating a guy, you're in major sin. You need to stop before you worry about anything else in Islam. If you're addicted to pornography, you're in a deep. This is a deep problem. It's a deep spiritual problem. You need to get away from it because the zina of the eyes will lead to other kinds of zina. You need to stop. That is the first thing you have to address. If you're addicted to alcohol, if you're taking drugs, if you're smoking weed, if you're doing pot, or worse, if you're doing this stuff, you need to stop. If you're stealing money, from your parents, if you're stealing money from your job, you need to stop. If you're investing in what you know are haram industries, and you're making money in a way that you know is not permissible by our deen, and if you're like, oh, I'm in an innocent business, I'm in real estate. Okay, that's innocent enough, but I rent out my warehouse to a club. Okay, you're not clubbing, you're just renting it out to them. You are perpetuating evil. You may not be the fasid, you may not be the corrupt one, but you are the cause of corruption. Without you renting it out, it wouldn't exist. So you're complicit. You're complicit in that. Stop doing the major stuff first. And then the second line of defense, personally, wal fawahish, all forms of shamelessness you need to stop. And I particularly highlighted shamelessness as I was talking to you, dating, pornography, this sort of thing. Why? Because Allah took major sins and immediately after highlighted in particular, shamelessness and all forms of it. Any act of it, any manifestation of it, anything that takes you close to it, avoid it altogether. وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُهُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. And when they get angry, then they are able to forgive.
And then there's AIDS, and there's HIV, and there is unwanted pregnancies by girls who are only 13 years old, 13, 12, 13. And what happens to the child? They're put up for adoption. The child grows up without a father or mother. What oppression! What oppression! Only to repeat the same thing again and again. So there is great harm in this. And here we are, they're trying to tell you youth that doing these actions makes you a man. You want to become a man? I dare you to get married. I dare you to get married. Because to them, this is the most cowardly thing. They don't dare to get married, brothers and sisters. They don't dare to get married. I had a neighbor, she had a 3-year-old daughter. But they never got married, her and her partner. In the end, he left her for another woman. Obviously, he's going to leave you for another woman. He's too afraid to be a man. He doesn't want to get married because he's too deep in his lusts. And then turns around and she says, men, they're only after their ego. Of course, why did you take a man like that? Allah gave us conscience. Allah gave us guidance in our brains to think with. And so Allah forbids us from these things because not to bring us harm. And you know what's sad? Unfortunately, 80% of the time, majority of the time, women are the victims. Women are the victims in this situation. So you can see it's reversed now. What does the man want? The man wants to use and abuse the woman. Use and abuse the woman. And you know what? If these young girls were able to look inside and read what's in the mind of young men these days, well, I don't think any of them will even hang around as much as 10 kilometers away from a man, close to a man. They wouldn't want to. But the men, they like to deceive women, wicked men. They like to deceive women, wicked, non-God-fearing we're talking about. And then you get this poor woman who thinks that, he's my boyfriend. We're going to stroll, this is the image she has in her head. We're going to stroll in the park. He's going to pick up a daffodil and give it to me. Or a rose. Hand in hand together. And then we're going to wait until the sun sets. And the birds chirping around us in this beautiful park. Poor thing. This is what she thinks, right? But the man is thinking about one thing. And he's going to tolerate all of that until he gets to it. I'm talking about men with diseases in their heart, and there are many of them today. With the tabloid, with all the sceneries that you have out there, and all the things that are occurring, I feel very sorry for a lot of women, and I feel very sorry for a lot of men who have sold their youth and sold their chastity, sold their dignity to be so cheap.
These are the things that we need to prioritize, and these are the goals you need to set for yourself. How will you surround yourself with people that will help you avoid major sins? That will give you fresh company, good company, that keeps you on the right track, and when you're slipping, they're able to stop you and pull you right back in. I pray all the best for you, and I pray that inshallah your life becomes better and better and better as a Muslim, and that you and I are able to stand in front of Allah successful on Judgment Day and be able to congratulate each other because we helped each other make it. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.